Oh shit. You may or may not know this already, but I'm fitting the R6 forks to the 750, the CB750. And to do that, I had to change a few things. Like, I've still got the triple clamps at the bottom and the triple clamp at the top. I've got the calipers and everything pretty much set there, ready to go. I'm going to have to change the wheel. Actually, no, I'm going to keep the original wheel, but I'm just going to change the disc or do something. I don't know 100% yet. I've got to try and figure it out. But a few things arrived, which is pretty exciting. I don't know if you are familiar with Cognito Moto. This got shipped over from the States to Australia, where I am, and I haven't even opened it yet, so pretty excited. They are awesome. Like, the help that I got from these guys is incredible. Tricky one. Okay. So yeah, I spoke to them on the phone I don't even know how long. I told them what I'm doing, told them what I'm up to, told them how I want to fit these guys to that particular bike, and the two guys that worked there were amazing. Like, yeah, really helpful. Just went through so many measurements with me over the phone, backwards and forwards real quick with the emails and that sort of thing. So if you do want to do, I don't even know anyone else who does this kind of thing, but if you are thinking about changing forks and you need to get a set of triple clamps or anything like a conversion of forks on any bike, these guys are the guys to talk to. So, man, talk about good packaging. They've even got their own, that's cool, they've got their own masking tape with their name on it. So, this is the conversion, top triple clamp for a CB750, as in the 750 spelt 750, not the actual, not the older 80 model ones. So that's that. That's the top triple clamp and the little doober wackies to go with that. They're the rods for the triple grips for the clip-ons. Man, they really package everything well. The bearings. Can't go far without them. And the shaft, obviously. Well, that's going to be fun to put together. After tidying everything up and trying to put everything in its little spot, I discovered that in the receipt itself was the instructions, which is kind of cool. I mean, seriously, I'm not getting paid by these guys or anything, but I had no idea. When I called them, I was kind of that idiot that had no idea what I was doing and said, this is what I want to do, how do I do it? And they just, like, were amazing. So if you ever are thinking about changing to a set of forks on a different bike, then yeah, I can tell you that they will help you. Anyway, enough about that. There's the masterpiece itself, being anodized in black. Pretty cool. If I make a mistake, that means I have to cut it all off the fiberglass again and start again, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. Okay, I tried to get it off in one piece. It just didn't want to work. kind of struggling a little bit with what I should paint this, what colours I should go with this bike. I've decided on going a brown seat, so that's definitely going to happen with the diamond pattern on top, like the actual, you know, I guess you call it, like, and I'm going to do the grips in brown as well. I found them, they look really cool. eBay special, but hey, you know, I think they're going to do the job perfectly. And just to keep that uniform, like to have a little bit of brown, you have to have something else that's brown, otherwise it's going to look weird. But I don't know what colour to go. The engine or the fuel tank, wheels. I was thinking about doing an accent of white actually, but I only want 2 colours. And I was thinking about doing a white just on this section here, just a small little section of white all the way around. That was an idea, but I don't know what it's going to look like. Hey, if you guys, anyone has an idea, if you're thinking about this bike and you go, hey, it would look good like this, please throw in the comments, let me know. I'm kind of at that point where I'm sort of trying to decide. I don't necessarily want to do it straight away, so I've got a little bit of time. So if you have any ideas, please like let me know. I'd love to hear from you. So I made this out of cardboard just purely to make sure it's going to fit, make sure that I didn't make any mistakes, because I don't want to make this out of steel or aluminium and then find that it doesn't quite fit or work, or it's not going to do what I need it to do. So that's the cardboard cutout. If you make one of these for yourself, you have a CB750 and you want to do this exact thing, I can give you the sizes of this if you want, it's fine. It's quite simple. But I was going to make it out of steel and get it powder coated, but I have a friend of mine that works in the sheet metal fabrication business, and he was available at work, so I took it down to him and had him make me this. I just took down the cardboard and said, this is kind of what I want. He was not super busy, so he was able to do it straight away for me while I waited, which was really cool. And yeah, I just made a lid for it as well, and the plan is to put it in there and have the lid hook into the back, and then have one bolt which pretty much holds it in position. I also have some of this self-adhesive, I guess foam, as a sealer. So what I'm going to do is, on this, I'm just going to run it all the way around the edge, obviously trim those sides, so that it's completely sealed. Apart from a drain hole in the bottom, I figured that if any water or condensation gets in there, I want it to escape. I'm just going to have a drain pipe in the bottom that runs down somewhere just out of the way, just in case. And the idea with it is to have something that locates it in position, so that locates it so that it can go and close, but only have one motion to actually take it out. Because I don't want to sit there with 4 screws undoing this thing if I just need to jump start the bike, or if I need to access the battery for whatever reason, in case the fuse box I put in there or whatever. I just wanted to make it nice and simple, so just one action, it's into the back, locks down with like a pan head bolt, so it's nice and neat. So I'll put it in and show you how it fits. This is made so tight that the tolerances were almost nothing to make it work. So all I've had to do is just do a little grind just here, where there's a little tiny weld, just to flatten that weld out, not to take any of the weld away, just to flatten it out, and it fits. It's super close to the chain, so I may even trim it back a tiny bit, but that fits perfect. And it sits up just enough so that when I put this cover on, when I figure out how I'm going to make that locate, I can put it in and then the bolt can sit there, and there's a little gap under here, you can see my finger, where that, basically that rod is there, so I can easily get a nut going through there, a nut and a bolt going through there, sorry. Perfect, and it looks nice and clean. There's nothing there, so that's the battery taken care of. Now I've got to try and figure out the rest of the wiring before I go too far. I just wanted to show you how the battery sits in there. Perfect. Closes up. Now with the battery, obviously the terminals are here and here. Depending on how I configure this, I could either have a hole in the lid, or in the center there, coming up and out, or one side coming up and out and then going straight to the frame, or I could do it straight through the wall here, which is probably more likely what I'll do. I'll have one coming through the center, and have the two cables coming through the center, out and up, or maybe to one side, so it's nice and I can run it to the frame there. Yeah, it's just kind of a little bit of trying to work things out, trying to figure out how it's going to work, what's touching, what's not touching, where everything's going to work, and to keep it hidden and keep it nice and neat as well. Now that I'm happy with the placement of where the battery's going to go, I've made the box, it's all pretty much set to go. I just need to powder coat that, so when I do the frame and all the other bits and pieces, I'll take them down at once. I'm just going to leave it bare aluminium for the moment. I need to figure out where to put the rest of this wiring, how it's going to be positioned. Obviously that's the flasher and the ignition module. I need to sort of fit it somewhere where it's going to be hidden, and rather than doing a complete I guess little gap under the seat, I've decided to do something a little bit different, and run this something like that, maybe not as aggressive of an angle, but maybe something like that is going to have sides on it, and it's sealed up inside there. I might even run a bead of silicone around it when it's completely powder coated and finished, but obviously that's the base. I'll still need to put sides there and a front. Just close it right off from any of the elements, and then I can slide things like this down inside there, which is quite a bit of room, because I've got still like quite a bit of room in there, which will allow me to put like the flasher unit, a fuse box, whatever else I need, and then just run a cable maybe through the frame. It'll be stronger than that. Well, yeah, and then just run a cable through the frame all the way through to the back where the tail lap's going to be, so you won't see any of that, and I won't necessarily need to put a pan all the way through. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. It's something different, and it's not really going to take away from that look of the openness of underneath. But I like to create things out of like cardboard or whatever to sort of stand back and really work out if that's what I want. I would hate to go, yeah, I'm going to make all this and then spend hours and hours creating something and then go, I don't really like it, like I did with the seat. I didn't spend that long on it, but still. So yeah, I think that's a winner for now. So I've made the side panel and the base for the actual electrical box, where I'm going to store all the electrical stuff. And that's the templates for it I've made, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I need to get some steel. I don't have any plate steel here. It is Saturday, so unfortunately none of the suppliers that I would use are open today. So I might just go to the local hardware store and see what I can find. They don't usually have a massive selection, but I'm sure there's going to be something that will work. And if not, I'll have to wait. But yeah, I've got a few things I purchased yesterday on eBay, just for the 3 bikes. I figured why not buy them all at the same time, the brake lever and the clutch levers. Nothing major, just a few other little small bits and pieces as well. And I know I said I wouldn't start on these other bikes until I finish this one, but this one down here, I've nicknamed it Denmark. So Denmark basically has, there's a story behind that, and basically what it is
when I did my research before I purchased it, I found out that they released this model in Denmark, and it just kind of stuck, and now whenever I refer to it, I always just call it Denmark. But anyway, I've tried everything to try and get that clutch to work. I just can't figure it out. It's just it's just sticking, or not sticking, should I say. It's just the lever, the clutch lever, just wasn't doing anything. I tried dropping it into gear, I tried to do a burnout, put it up on the stand, I tried every single gear. I tried everything that I thought would work, and I thought, stuff it, I'm just going to pull it out. I ended up buying a tool. I ended up buying this off eBay. Now, it didn't fit. The brand is VGL, and it was for a CX500. It's the nut that takes the center of the clutch out. If you've ever done it, or you may have seen it, or tried it yourself. You can make these out of a socket. I decided to buy one, but it didn't fit, so I've had to grind the inside out of every single one of these knobs that stick up, like the castellated bit, which was a bit of a pain in the ass, because you're taking away meat, which is going to weaken it. But it worked. Man, I had to hang off it, so it was on hardcore. I'm going to have to find the torque settings when I put that back on, so that I can physically make sure it doesn't come loose. And yeah, so what I'm currently doing now, move that out the way. What I'm currently doing now is I've got the clutch pack out, and I've laid it out, and I'm just going along and cleaning it. It has, you can see in the light there, those lines, and it's just where it's been sitting, obviously, on on this stuff, and it's just been sitting for so long. So there's one that I've kind of cleaned. I just got some emery tape, ran along and just cleaned it. It's fully smooth now. It doesn't look it, but it is. I would love to replace these, but they're not blued. They don't seem to be, the holes are still prominent in it, so I think they should be okay. If anything, might replace these, but hey, I'm keeping them in the right order. As I take them out, obviously I'm not worried about them too much, about which side they flip up and down. I don't think there's any need to worry about that, which side they're on, but I am keeping them in order, and hopefully once I finish cleaning them, I'm going to throw them back in, and hopefully then the clutch will engage and I can actually, well, ride it, I guess. It does start, it goes. The carburetors may need a little bit of more attention, but I really don't want to spend too much time on it. I just want it movable, so that then I can, like, I guess, move it out of the way, take it down. I've got a bit of not a steep driveway, but I would hate to have to push it up and down that all the time. So yeah, that's where I'm at, and after that's done, I'm going to get back into this, that bad boy. It's kind of looking pretty cool. Oh shit. While I was doing up the nuts on this, I thought I had the right torque setting, but apparently I didn't, because I just snapped one. It's a real bummer, but I've backed them all off now, and now I'm just going to have to use an easy out to try and get the rest of the actual bolt out of that hole, and then go and purchase another bolt. So I was pretty lucky to get it out. I was fortunate enough, after snapping it, I had a little bit of a burr on the end. So what I did was I started to drill a hole in the center of it so that I could use an easy out, which is, I don't know if you've ever seen one, but it's like this. It's a reverse thread. If it will focus for me. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it's just basically a reverse thread. So you drill a hole, and this you drill in, you put in and go in reverse. Focus is terrible. And then it will just draw it out and pull it out. But like I said, I was pretty fortunate that it had a burr on the end of it, and all I did was just use the screwdriver on that burr and just keep working it ever so slightly, just bit by bit, and reversed it, and it seemed to come out pretty easy. I'll know not to do that again. I went and purchased 4 new bolts, and I've just put 2 in. They're a little bit shorter than the original ones, only by like a mil or 2. Not that it's really going to matter, so I've just left the original ones in there and replaced both on the opposite direction, diagonally. And yeah, it should be all good. I've put the right tension on. Okay, so I've put the clutch back on, the clutch cover, everything's back in. I'm going to now pretty much take no chances, and I'm going to put it up against that wall over there, and yeah, just let the clutch out and see if I can get some tension on it. I'm hoping it will, after I've spent all that time cleaning all those plates and putting it all back there, and then having that bolt snap on me, which was frustrating, but it happens. So yeah, hopefully everything goes well. It's not going to run great because I'm waiting for a kit to turn up for the carburetors. I know that it's going to have a bit of a coffin and carry on. I'm just waiting for that to turn up. As soon as it does, then I might put that in so that it's done. And yeah, so let's see if this clutch works. My first run up the driveway was a little bit touch and go. Wasn't sure if I was going to get to the top. I thought the clutch was pretty much gone, and then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to check the cable to make sure that there's not too much tension on the cable, and I'll back it off a bit if there is. So I just made the adjustment, and I moved it probably about 10 mil, and it was just holding the actual arm up, which was holding the clutch, I guess, apart, so all the plates would actually spin and it wasn't pushing them together. So what I did was just make that adjustment. It just went down the road, came back and up the driveway perfectly with heaps like of traction. It just wanted to pull. So really happy. Yeah, that's all I'm pretty much going to do to that now. It needs loads more work, as you can see, but for now I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm just going to pretty much put it somewhere, keep it in storage, and finish that one, then move on to that one, and then probably get onto that one. But for now, I'm happy. I've got it rolling, I've got the brakes working, and that's all it needs to do right now till I get to it.